Hey everyone, George here, and welcome back to the channel. I apologize for my voice here. I've got a little congestion and stuff going on, but I wanted to get this video out to you. Today we're going to be talking about Rummy-Nose Tetras and how they fit in as a community fish for your tank, and why they do so well with these guys here, the Discus. And one of the reasons is because they are a bottom dwelling fish, number one. And number two, they're very hardy once they get into your tank. Now, the difficulties with Rummy-Nose can be sometimes that they're not very good at doing well in transport. In other words, from the supplier to the pet shop where they're going to be sold eventually. A lot of times you'll find these guys will have ick. One of the things that you want to do is, because these guys can tolerate higher heat, is you want to get some Paragard or something into your tank when you get them, just to make sure that they're being medicated right away. Paragard is one of those medications that's very easy on fish, and I recommend it for anybody that's got new fish. Put these guys in a quarantine tank. Obviously, we do not put them in with our Discus right away. You're just asking for big trouble. So one of the most important things that you can do is to make sure that these fish are quarantined, and make sure that they are have Paragard as a medication in their tank automatically. I have seen these fish look absolutely perfect when I bought them, wake up the next day and find that they have ick all over them, and thus creating an environment in the tank where everybody's got ick. These are things that I learned early on. Obviously, I don't do those kinds of things anymore, but I would tell you that you really do have to pay attention to how you're treating these fish when you first get them, and they'll do great once they're established. I've had these particular Rummy-Nose in this tank here for well over, I would say, about 5 years. They used to be in a tank called the Montana that I had. If anybody's familiar with my videos, you know about the Montana tank and the history behind that one. I don't have that tank any longer. My son has it. But I took these guys out because I wanted to keep them. They were doing so well, and they've been in this Discus tank now for 3 years. So I would say that these guys have adapted quite well, and they make a absolutely wonderful companion or community fish for a Discus tank. We're always looking for companions to our Discus or community fish for our Discus. Tetras are typically what we end up with. This is one of 3 that I recommend. I do recommend cardinals if they're big enough. If they're not, do not put them in, because the Discus will see them as a food source. If they're big enough, cardinals will grow to about the same size as these guys if they're given an opportunity. And also black neon tetras are fantastic. Small neon tetras, the standard neons, are not good. I found that over time they get picked on by the Discus and just don't do well. So it's one of those things where you just have to be extremely careful and cognizant of the idea that the neons, are probably not going to have as good a chance of survival in a tank full of Discus fish that are going to see them as a food source or pick on them. And so I don't recommend them. But these Rummy-Nose, as I said, are absolutely fantastic fish for any tank that is going to be a community tank, as long as you do the things that I told you to do. Make sure when you get them from a good supplier, number one. Number two, it doesn't matter if they're tank raised or if they're wild. I prefer the wilds myself, but tank raised, as long as someone has done a good job of not overbreeding and interbreeding, I should say, then you'll get a good school of these guys that will do really, really well in your tank. So the third thing that I would tell you is, because they're so susceptible to ick and other kind of diseases like that, make sure you quarantine them and use Paragard, something very mild that is not going to harm them, their internal organs and that sort of thing, because any small fish like this, if you over medicate or create an environment where the medication is too strong for them, because we're doing this as a preventative. We're not doing this because we know that the fish have ick already. I just do this as a preventative, and I've seemed to have been able to get over the problems that I've had with keeping these Rummy-Nose over time. And like I said, these guys are about 5 years old now. I don't know the lifespan of Rummy-Nose right offhand. I think it's between 5 and 7 years, and I'm sure that I'll start to lose some of these guys. But if you do have a healthy tank, one where you're doing a lot of water changes, and of course with a discus tank you're going to be doing that, and you're feeding them a good diet, a variety of foods and that sort of thing, then the Rummy-Nose will last quite a bit longer, sometimes beyond the 5 to 7 years. I've seen people tell me that they've had their Rummy-Nose up to 8 to 9 years, and that's amazing, really, when you think about it. Now, there are some other fish that are sprinkled in here. How they got in here, I really don't know. Somebody may have just thrown them in here because they didn't know what to do. And there's a couple of, I'm not sure what they are. I don't think that they're lemon tetras, but I know that they don't seem to mind schooling with the Rummy-Nose, so that's a good thing. And if you can see them, I'm trying to find them here, a couple of them right in here that got similar colors to them and whatever, so I leave them. I don't worry about them. But yeah, if you have some other tetras that are in with them, they're fine. You can put a couple of different kinds. I'm going to show you right up here. I also have bloodfin tetras. Now they take up the top part of the tank. They like to school together right around the top part of the tank, which I just got done feeding these guys, so there is a little bit of food in the water here, but I fed them about 5 minutes ago because I was trying to make sure that when I videoed this that they actually had a reason to be kind of hanging around and not hiding in the plants and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this is a great fish. As I said, the Rummy-Nose is a fantastic fish as a community tank fish, and like I said, they do fantastic if you could get them past the point of the quarantine and that kind of thing. They're kind of bulletproof beyond that, but what I would tell you is make sure, as I said, when you're quarantining them, use a little bit of Paragard, raise that temperature up, because your temperature is going to be up around 84 to 86 degrees anyway. Ick or any of that stuff cannot live in those temperatures. So once they're off quarantine and they get moved around, they seem to do really, really well, because all of my tanks, pretty much the water hardness is about the same, pH is about the same, so everything about my water continues to be about the same in every tank. So moving them from tank to tank, I don't do that very often, but if you have to, they will do rather well beyond that. So thanks for joining me today. This is just a quick video. I wanted to get out to you and talk about these guys. I didn't want to be on camera today. I'm not feeling all that great. And as you can tell by my voice, I'm a little bit sick here. But I wanted to make this video because people had asked me about these Rummy-Nose and how well they do with discus. And I wanted to make it clear that, in my opinion, they're one of the best out there to put in there. So thanks for joining me today. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done that. And share this video with your friends, and please leave me a comment down below if you have any questions or you have a little more knowledge about these fish. I'm learning stuff every day as well, so I don't mind somebody coming in and giving me a little bit of a brush up on what's going on with a fish that maybe I didn't mention something that was important. So anyways, thanks for joining me today. We will see you on the next one. Until then, we are out of here.